It's the first Kids Sunday of the season. Youngsters having a great time out on Federal Street. To raise the Jolly Roger flag to give away today. It's a beautiful spring Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh, where the Pirates host the Reds in Game 3 of a 3-game series. Hi again, everybody, with Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Ince-Mikowski will join us shortly. A new name on the hill for the Pirates today as they go for a 3-game sweep over the Reds. It's Phil Irwin. What's he feeling as he gets set to make his big league debut?
Well, Tim, I'm sure he is very nervous right now. He's probably been chomping at the bit ever since he got up this morning to get out there and make this start. But he just needs to control his emotions and do what he has done to get to this spot in his career. You can see by his minor league stats, he's been very successful. He throws a lot of strikes. Just don't do anything different today. Go out there, go after the bats. Don't get too cute. I think he'll be just fine. Give us 6 innings, keep us in the ball game. We'll have a chance to win.
And Irwin has to feel comfortable with what's behind him in the bullpen. Those guys have been doing a great job. Wilson, Melanson, and Grilly all with zeros in the earned run column.
Well, for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people, there was a big question mark about the bullpen this year with all the changes. What's going to happen? What's it going to be like? Well, that's been answered already this year. That bullpen is as solid as ever.
Jason Grilly not available today after earning his 5th save of the season last night. Getting set to get this one underway from PNC Park. It's time to break out the brooms as the Pirates go for the 3-game sweep over Cincinnati. Phil Irwin against Matt Latos. That's the pitching matchup. Lineups and first pitch coming up from PNC Park.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Phil Irwin taking it all in. Jeff Locke, last night's starter and winner, giving him some hugs. Very, very special moment for Phil Irwin. Obviously his family and friends getting set to make his major league debut at PNC Park, along with Robbie Ince-Mikowski and Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. Nice Sunday afternoon. And what a day for Irwin. he approaches the mound for the very first time as a major leaguer.
How about those unis? Looks like glass going out there.
It does, doesn't it? 1970s era Pirates uniforms they'll wear on Sundays at home this year. So an alternate uniform, albeit a throwback, but still an alternate uniform. For the Reds, Dusty Baker made his lineup out like this. Leading off, Shin-Soo Choo. Zach Cozart in the 2 spot. Third home run of the season. Last night he got the Reds on the board first. It was in the 3rd inning. Brandon Phillips back in the cleanup spot, back from his grandfather's funeral. Missed the game last night. Then Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier, Chris Heisey, Ryan Hannigan, the catcher, batting 8th. And the pitcher, Matt Latos, will bat 9th, facing Phil Irwin.
I see last season's numbers from his AA, AAA season, and 2.87 ERA. Nowadays, anytime you can keep it in the 2s, well, not even nowadays, any day. You can go even back when they were still wearing these throwback style uniforms. That 2-something ERA was special, and you deserve to be moved up. He has earned this spot. Hopefully he does well this afternoon. And look, 111 strikeouts, just 24 walks. That's maybe as impressive as an ERA in the 2s.
And the guys trying to make it happen behind him today in the outfield. Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, Travis Snyder again. On the left side of the infield, John McDonald gets the start at shortstop. Walker and Jones on the right side. And the Fort, Michael McHenry, makes a start on this Sunday, catching Irwin. And the veteran, John McDonald, 38 years of age. Got a good glove, good arm over there. And today he gets the start with Barmas getting the day off. And there is the Fort. And Russell Martin, he likes to play and will play offense. So Michael McHenry playing sparingly so far this year, making just his 2nd start.
Well, with young guys making their first start, you're always a little concerned about, are they going to try and do too much? They're going to be nervous. And I think if you look at the numbers from last year, you see those 24 walks. That really stands out. If it looks like he's getting afraid of the bats, trying to get too many swings and misses, getting the counts a little too deep, I think that's a red flag right away. That's not the way he normally pitches, and he is trying to do something different. But if he starts pounding the strike zone, getting ahead of the hitters, and continues to do that throughout this start, then that's a sign that, hey, he has confidence in his abilities, and he's not trying to be a different style pitcher here than he was in the minor leagues.
The first pitch misses for a ball. Ray Searage, pitching coach, watching on today. Phil Irwin in spring training. His last time out against the Yankees on St. Patrick's Day was not very lucky for him. He lasted just 2 1/3 innings. But the time before that, on the 11th of March, he went 3 2/3 innings and he struck out 7 Baltimore Orioles that day. And that really was a day that opened up some eyes. And Choo with a base hit up the middle. Leadoff man is aboard for Cincinnati.
Just about got Irwin. He threw his glove down there and just about caught it in the ankle. That wouldn't have been a good first start to get hit with a line drive back through the middle.
No, not that way. Here is Zach Cozart. Now Cozart and Irwin familiar with one another. They both went to the University of Mississippi, but Irwin didn't pitch when Cozart was there. Irwin makes his home in Collierville, Tennessee, and that's the high school that Cozart graduated from. So they have a lot of mutual acquaintances. And part of the reason that Irwin didn't pitch when Cozart was there was because Irwin had Tommy John surgery while at Ole Miss. Ended up pitching 3 seasons there. Was drafted by the Pirates 21st round in 2009. Dusty Baker went to Cozart and asked him for information on Irwin, and he said, well, he didn't pitch really when I was at Ole Miss, so I don't have a good scouting report. And he said, well, find me some people who do. So Cozart got in touch with some of his buddies that were a little bit more familiar with Irwin. And that's how the Reds got some additional information on today's starting pitcher, Phil Irwin. And use every resource you have, I guess.
I don't know about that resource. I'd have to take 2008 amateur league stuff with a grain of salt. I'm sure he's a much different pitcher now than he was back then.
Yeah, the way that he has developed since starting to come through the Pirates system, and it's much different than when he was in college.
And I'm sure Cincinnati probably has a ton of video on him. There's so much known about every single player nowadays.
3 balls and no strikes to Cozart. Well, last year in AAA, and he went 3 rungs of the minor league ladder. He had 1 start in Bradenton, then 18 appearances, 16 starts in AA Altoona, going 4-7 there. Went 3-0 in AAA Indy. And he's walked Cozart, and with nobody out, traffic on the bases, runners at first and second, Chu over to second base, Cozart down to first.
So here's your red flag right away. A guy that really hardly ever walks anybody, and he walks the really the second hitter he faces. And if you look at the strike zone down in the corner, they were all over the place. Look at a shotgun blast. I mean, it just spots everywhere.
So now it doesn't get much easier here in the top of the first inning, as Irwin has to face Joey Votto with Brandon Phillips on deck.
Just to figure out a way to get himself a ground ball. And Votto, he has been very selective in these last couple of games about what he's swinging at. Been chasing much at all. He's going to make you throw strikes. He's walked 5 times.
.278 this season. Votto walked 3 times in last night's game. He went 0 for 2. Pirates won last night 3-1. And that's ball 2. And Irwin having trouble finding the strike zone here. The reason Irwin's starting at all is because Wandy Rodriguez was taken out of his last start in Arizona with a hamstring issue in his left leg. And Wandy not on the disabled list. He does expect to make his next start on the 19th against Atlanta. 2-0, and this one's fouled away.
Just a ground ball away from maybe settling himself down. He needs something good to happen right now, and of course nothing could be better than a ground ball double play.
Irwin ready to go, the 2-1. Now it's 3-1 to Votto, and Phil Irwin dangerously close to loading the bases with nobody out. Fort kept this ball from going to the backstop.
He missed pretty good with that pitch. That ball actually bounced in front of Votto. And for a control type pitcher, he's all over the place. Needs to settle down and pitch like he did in the minor leagues.
Well, tough start. Bases full, nobody out. He's walked 2 in a row.
Walked 24 all year last year. So that really, I think, tells you a lot about what's going through his mind, what's happening with him out there right now.
Well, it's got to be of a concern right now because Brandon Phillips, who again missed last night's game due to a family matter, attending the funeral of his grandfather, 2 nights ago hit 2 home runs against the Pirates in the opener. Phillips, an all-star player, represented Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, and is always up there among the best defensive second basemen each year. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the pitch by Irwin is outside for a ball. Again, Wandy Rodriguez not able to start today. In order to make room for Irwin, the roster move the Pirates made, they sent Josh Harrison to AAA. Pedro Alvarez with a word Irwin here.
But not sure what he was saying, though, because both had it well disguised.
So Harrison out. The Pirates electing to go short on the bench today and keep the bullpen intact. And then you probably would expect another roster move tomorrow to even out the bench. Here's the pitch. And the breaking ball in for a strike. Well, bases loaded, nobody out. Shin-Soo Choo is at third base. Zach Cozart, the runner, at second. And Joey Votto at first base. Phil Irwin finds himself in a spot facing Brandon Phillips. 1-1. And Phillips, a base hit. Cincinnati's on the board. Chu comes around. Cozart right behind him. A 2-run single for Brandon Phillips. And before Irwin is able to get an out, the Reds are up 2-0.
He got the ground ball that he so desperately was wanting and needed, but right in the hole. Not hit all that well. And because it wasn't hit all that hard, Marte had no chance to do anything as far as throwing the ball home. You can see from our replay, he had to come a long way in just to get to that ground ball. His only option was just toss it into third base.
Second hit of the game for the Reds. 2 on and still nobody out, and Jay Bruce hits one toward the middle. McDonald flips to Walker for one, back to first, double play. Outstanding play by the veteran Johnny Mack up the middle.
Beautifully done. Exactly what we needed. A bullet, umpire screened him, but the backhand toss, perfect, right to Walker. Excellent.
Getting dirty. And the work clothes dirty on a Sunday.
Might have been close to like a little bit of a no-look pass. Didn't take much time. He just threw it behind him.
Something like that might get Irwin back on track. Votto, the runner at third base, 2 out. 0-1 pitch to Frazier, third baseman. Foul tips it into the glove of McHenry, and he was behind the count, 0-2.
Hopefully that double play gets him going. That was one of the best pitches he's thrown so far.
And a bouncing ball to Pedro Alvarez. And Pedro will throw him out. And the Reds strike for 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave a man after a half inning. It's the Reds 2. And the Pirates coming to bat. To bat in the bottom of the first inning, our Toyota starting lineup. Starling Marte leads off. He's got a 7-game hitting streak. Snyder, McCutchen, and Garrett Jones in the cleanup spot. He's been swinging a good bat. 7 for his last 13 with a couple of doubles and 3 runs batted in. Then Neil Walker, the switch hitter. Pedro Alvarez, the fourth. Michael McHenry bats 7th. John McDonald looks for his first hit, batting 8th. And will be the pitcher, Phil Irwin, batting 9th against Matt Latos.
Latos, one of the better pitchers in the league. They acquired him from San Diego. Put that final piece, give him a 1-2 punch at the top of that rotation with Cueto, and it worked out well for him.
Latos, born in Virginia, went to school in Florida, and now lives in San Diego still, while pitching in Cincinnati. Pitch to Marte.
Be concerned when he hits too. He likes hitting against us. For some
he
reason.
does. You know, Latos has 3 home runs in his career. 2 of them have come against the Pirates. He got Jeff Karstens a couple of years ago while a Padre, and last year he got Wandy Rodriguez. There's a bouncing ball right into the glove of Frazier. 1 out. Defensively for Cincinnati, Chris Heise is in left field again today. Shin-Soo Choo in center. Jay Bruce is the right fielder. Frazier and Cozart, Phillips and Votto, with Ryan Hannigan doing the catching. Brandon Phillips was replaced by Cesar Storis last night in his absence, so playing in just his 2nd game this series is Phillips. And Travis Snyder looks at a strike. Now, last night's game, Bob, was the first game this year where the opposition scored first and the Pirates won. Reds went up 1-0, and the Pirates would win the game 3-1. They've scored first here today, so Pirates have plenty of time to take them over. Jeff Locke got a win, went 5 innings. Notice lately Jeff Locke bending the ear of A.J. Burnett, trying to glean as much knowledge from the veteran as he can. One ball and 2 strikes to Snyder. Latos winds in the 1-2 pitch. And this one to left center field. And that ball is going to be on the ground. A diving attempt by Heise. Couldn't get it. And Travis Snyder is in with a 1-out double. 2nd double of the year for Snyder.
He sets the table nicely. He's moved up that number 2 spot. Gets the double in front of Kutch.
Just got off the end of the bat, too.
If he would have hit a little bit better, it would have shot through that gap and maybe have been 3 bases, which would have been nice with 1 out. I was a little worried about Choo getting to that ball, but it had good slice and moving away from him.
Snyder in scoring position for Andrew McCutchen.
It almost sliced all the way to where Heise could make a play on it too far.
That's hitting 243. Snyder heading for 3rd base, and he is out. Well, Snyder trying to swipe 3rd, and now there's 2 men out and nobody on.
Now that's when you want to try and steal 3rd base with 1 out. He's got a big lead.
Watch his hands.
Trick him with the slide. But yeah. When you got 1 out, that's when you want to try and steal 3rd base.
One ball, 1 strike pitch. And McCutchen fouls it back. Last night, Kutch without a hit, but he did score the tying run in the 4th inning after he walked, and Garrett Jones drove him in. McCutchen went 0 for 3. He homered in Game 1 Friday night. 2nd home run of the year proved to be the game winner in a 6-5 Pirate win. Well, on Sunday home games, those are the uniforms the Pirates will be wearing this season. Considered alternate uniforms, but yeah, they are throwback. The mustard gold, I like that.
Not quite as tight fitting as the old days.
No. And Kutch goes down on strikes. So the double by Snyder, but Latos only faces 3 men. 2-0 Cincinnati.
Pirates. I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. Well, Phil Irwin, obviously, first time in the big leagues. Maybe a little bit of nerves out there the first time, but he has a lot of support coming his way, including from his teammates in the minor leagues. And we get a look at a couple of the tweets here from Ryan Beckman, locking down the sweep today with the dirty and downright nasty Filthy Phil 36, Phil Irwin's Twitter handle. Duke Welker checking in, calling him a stud. And how about Jamison Taillon? Big Sunday ahead. Bullpen, alternate baseball camp, a day game, the Masters, and then his debut by his boy, Filthy Phil. So a lot of support here, Tim and Bob, when you look at Phil Irwin making his debut. And also many family members made the trip from Tennessee to watch his debut. We'll hear from them in just a little bit.
Irwin with a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Chris Heisey. Gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. He walked 2. Cozart and Votto in the first inning. And now Heisey batting 132, facing Irwin. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And you get that first inning out of the way. Now, how easy is it for him to settle down?
I mean, this is not an easy thing. Making your first big league start, nothing's easy about it. But you are out there now for the second time.
And a line shot into left field and a base hit.
So I think you are a little more comfortable just because it is the second inning. And now you've gone through all the opening inning jitters, and that's done. But the most important thing for me, I think, with Irwin is that he starts throwing a lot more strikes than he was in that first inning. I mean, he's only 50-50 strikes balls so far in this game. And for a guy that has as good a control as he has, that shows me that there was a little case of nerves going on in that first.
Reds catcher Ryan Hannigan batting. Nobody out, runner on. Stop by the fort, keeping Heisey at first base. Heisey, Hannigan, and Latos, the 3 scheduled hitters, and then Reds looking to turn the order over, get back to the top.
That curveball that he just threw, that's like an 0-2 pitch curveball. That's not a first pitch curveball. First pitch curveball, you maybe try to back it off a little bit. But you're trying to throw first pitch curveball strike, and he put that. It had a really good, hard, good bite to it, but it's bouncing out in front of home plate. That's not doing you any good on the first pitch. That's all that's doing is putting you behind 1-0.
Heisey getting back.
Oh, Heisey's running.
Just had him leaning.
AGH cam showing that he has dirty fingernails now.
That camera shows everything.
Everything.
Well, Irwin working on controlling Heisey over there. Pirates expecting him to run. A 4-pitch mix for Phil Irwin, a fastball, a curveball, a cutter, and he'll throw a changeup to it, primarily to left-handers. Two 2-0 to Hannigan. Irwin pitched on Monday against Toledo. This is his 1 start, went 6 innings, got the win. Gave up 4 hits and 1 earned run. Pitch for Indianapolis. Runner goes, pitches a ball, throw down, not there. Stolen base for Heisey. That's his 2nd. And the Reds with a man in scoring position, nobody out.
Ball going down on a hop. Tough to really get a quick tag down. Walker doing his best just to make sure that ball went nowhere else. Heisey getting into 3rd on a ball that's caroms off into the outfield.
And he was walked Hannigan. 3rd walk issued by Irwin.
This is not the Phil Irwin that he has been in his professional career. He's definitely got something going on control-wise this afternoon that is not him.
Cincinnati setting up shop again, and here is Latos. For 4 this season. Struck out once. His first career home run of the 3 came for the Padres on July 8th in 2010 at Washington. And then on the 3rd of May, he got Jeff Karstens for 1. While the Padre pops up the bunt, and McHenry makes the catch. 1 out.
Just as Irwin got a good break last inning with that double play that McDonald started, Latos fails to move the runners over. So now he doesn't have to deal with that scenario of second and third, just 1 out. Nice reaction there by the Fort. Quickly jumping over there and making sure he got that ball corralled.
Another Tennessee guy completing the all-Tennessee battery right now for the Pirates, with Irwin from Collierville and McHenry from Knoxville.
There's a good first pitch breaking ball. Started outside, bring it over the outside half of the plate. Now, the further you get ahead in the count, the better location that breaking ball gets.
Strike 2 to Shin-Soo Choo.
You're ahead by a strike, and now you have to hit the edge of the strike zone at best with that breaking ball. Now, if you throw it, now you want to put it down, maybe bounce it right in front of the Fort's glove, right off the point of home plate. Right there, perfect. That is what you want. You might get a chase there. You might get a check swing, strike 3. The exact spot you want that 0-2 curveball to hit. It's easy for the catcher to block, and it's just tantalizing enough to where if the hitter is trying to protect with 2 strikes, he might take a run at it.
Heisey at second, Hannigan at first, 1 out. 1-2 is fouled back. Shin-Soo Choo with the Cleveland Indians, and the Reds got him along with infielder Jason Donald. And a few bucks in exchange for Drew Stubbs. Stubbs was the everyday center fielder in Cincinnati for a while. Shortstop Didi Gregorius in on the deal as well. That was a deal done in December. And this one to the gap in left center field. That's going to get down. Reds are going to add another one as Heisey comes around to score. They'll add 2 more as Hannigan comes to the plate. It's now 4-0 Cincinnati.
I'd almost make that a double error on Marte. Definitely a physical error, but then a mental error on the throw. I don't know where this ball was going. But if he comes up and hits McDonald with the throw, I don't think Hannigan can score. Right now, pick it up, hit the cutoff man, but he just airmails everybody a rainbow into third. And at that time, Hannigan was rounding third on his way to the plate. See where Hannigan is? Right there. He's not even a third yet. If he would have hit McDonald, I think they had a play. Marte was just, you know, I can understand maybe because there was 1 out, he was worried about Choo getting all the way to third. In his mind, maybe he figured, hey, I've already botched this up. I'm just going to make sure that Choo goes no further than second base.
Runner at second and 1 out for Zach Cozart, who takes a strike. Cozart walked and scored in the first inning. So 2 in the first for Cincinnati, 2 now here in the second. He had Choo on the ropes, too. 2-strike pitch. That was gapped. A couple of Ole Miss Rebels facing one another right now. And a chopper down to third base. Now, Irwin was a college teammate at Ole Miss. with tomorrow's starting pitcher for St. Louis, Lance Lynn. And last year when Lance Lynn faced Alex Presley, another Ole Miss Rebel, Presley got an inside the park home run off his former teammate. A bunch of those Ole Miss guys running around the big leagues. 0-2 to Cozart. Shin-Soo Choo. Steal you a bag every once in a while. He had 21 steals last year. 2010 was his best year with 22. A little tapper to Irwin. They got the man at third hung up. Now Walker will run him down for the out. So a fielder's choice by Cozart, and Choo gone in the rundown.
A good job by the Pirates getting that rundown over with before Cozart could get himself over to second base. Now, right about now, Choo's thinking, okay, stay alive so Cozart can get himself into scoring position. But I think that's McDonald running back, is able to make the tag in time. Or no, that's Walker. Got the tag on him and turned around real quick. Cozart had gone about halfway, had no choice but to run back to first. One more throw, and Cozart's in scoring position.
2 outs, Joey Votto the hitter. And Votto right off of Irwin. And he will recover and throw him out. 2 more runs come in for Cincinnati. 2 more hits. After an inning and a half, the Reds lead it 4-0. Games come to town this Friday at 7:05. All fans take home a Pirates t-shirt at the gates, courtesy of People's Natural Gas. For tickets or to see all of the Free Shirt Friday designs, visit pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. Thanks to Clint Barmas for showing us the t-shirt for the upcoming Friday. It's a kids' day here at PNC Park, and Pirates down 4-0 early. Well, they need a few of those, a few Zoltans today. Down 4-0 in his major league debut. Lonely spot on the bench for a pitcher sometimes. Phil Irwin is reflecting. Now Garrett Jones will lead off against Matt Latos to start the Pirates half of the second. Good news is it's still very early in the game.
Plenty of time left for a comeback.
Jones rolls the first pitch foul.
Against one of the better pitchers in the league, though, it makes it a little more difficult.
3-13 for Jones. He's been pretty good lately. Had a good start. 0-1 pitch. And Jones hits this one well to left center field. It's headed for the notch, but catching up to it is Heisey. Heisey had him played well. He had to go a long way to get it.
I'd like to have seen that one in Arizona.
Yeah, that would be gone.
This ballpark is fair or a little to the pitching side, I think, when it comes to home runs, and you can see why with that play. Jones hit this ball very good, looked good off the bat, but gets out there toward that notch. Really the big left field we have. Turns into just a fly out.
Walker's starting to pick things up offensively. 3 for 7 in his last 2 games. And at home, he's hit safely in 4 of 5 games this season. 162, and we'll see that average climb. And this time it's hit pretty well. And back again is Heisey in front of the track. So Heisey's been busy this inning.
Right where the track is here, that's about where most left fields are. That one would have had a chance. Hey, talk about left fields that are conducive to a home run. We're playing Cincinnati. That's their ballpark. The ball just leaps out the left field.
383 to left center here, and then to deep left center it's 410. Shortens up to dead center 399. Down the left field line 325. Pedro will take a strike.
It's a big outfield.
It's cavernous in left field here. Nothing in 1-2 Pedro. Pirates would like to have some instant offense here, trying to get into this 4-0 lead that the Reds have. Pedro off to a bit of a slow start. Last year, the majority of the home runs that Pedro hit were during day games. 18 of his 30 were under the sun, and he had 12 home runs at night. Count is even to Pedro, 2-2.
Yeah, I'm sure the Pirates investigated that a little bit, but you wonder why that is. So many more games are at night than are during the day. And you look at a number like what you just said about his home runs, and you think, is he seeing the ball well at night? Makes you wonder.
Well, it's bound to happen. He's going to hit one sooner or later. R. Nice shirt.
Got a peg leg.
Full count to Alvarez. 3-2. Latos will be coming with something here. He got 2 quick outs to left field. 2 down, bases empty. Bottom of the second. Popped out of plate on the left side. Well, El Toro waiting to strike for the first time this year. He's done it twice. Pirates with only 3 home runs as a team. Garrett Jones has the other.
A lot like last season so far. You look at last April.
All 4.
Not a lot of offense. Very good pitching.
Well, the Bucks with a base runner as Alvarez touches first. Worked himself a walk against Latos. First free pass issued by Latos this afternoon. And Michael McHenry, the batter. Latos making his 7th career start against the Pirates. He's never lost to the Bucks. He's 4-0. with a 2.11 ERA, and at PNC Park, this is his 4th appearance here. He is 3-0 with a 189 earned run average against the Pirates in this ballpark. Pirates hoping to find a way to change that this afternoon. Reds with 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second. Alvarez off first, 2 men out. One and one. Last year, Latos tied his career high with 14 wins. He had a no decision Monday against St. Louis. Breaking ball stood up McHenry for just a moment.
Yeah, we're talking about home runs. We haven't hit that many. McHenry last year, when you look at how many home runs he hit per at bat, very impressive. I think it was 13 home runs.
He's a double-digit guy. Have a few big ones
for
too.
somebody that is not an everyday player. Not bad at all. He really showed that he can get the ball over the fence anytime also. And chases a good 2-strike curveball out of the zone.
Well, McHenry is out. Pirates leave a runner. Will head to the 3rd. 4-0 Cincinnati. Pietrangelo makes the save in the first round of the 1991 playoffs against the Devils to keep the Penn Stanley Cup hopes alive. Here from Frank Pietrangelo, Phil Bourque, Bob Airy, Peter Taglianetti, and Paul Steigerwald while you relive this memorable Game 6 Sunday Night Classics. The save tonight at 8 on Root Sports. 4-0 Reds. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Phil Irwin out for his 3rd inning of work. Love the throwback unis. And see the hashtag Bucks Booth. You can put it on there. Tweet us at Root Sports Pit with the hashtag Bucks Booth. And give us your opinion on these uniforms from the early 70s. It's the 1971 era. And the Pirates will be wearing these each Sunday home game. Your opinion on them. You like them? You can tweet us at Root Sports Pit with the hashtag Bucks Booth. Steve has already tweeted in, I think, hasn't he? Yeah. In honor of the Masters, he's got his green sweater on today. Not a green jacket, Steve, but a green vest. But these uniforms are of the Steve Blass era. Brandon Phillips lines it foul.
We were looking at tweets earlier today. You saw one kind of answered a question of mine last night about the tricep.
Yeah, a doctor.
Yeah.
Because you were asking, what was your question?
Well, I was kind of making
So there's a bicep, a tricep, and you were asking
what? Monocep. Well, but on a serious note, it's because it has a three-headed attachment. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll go back and find that if you want.
Yeah, so if you tweet, you can also teach us things. It's very informative. The monosep thing, by the way, was a joke yesterday for listeners.
Yeah, but not everybody knows that.
I know. I think some people take it a little too seriously at times.
Fly ball to right, and Snyder under it. He will retire Brandon Phillips for the first out of the Reds' third inning. Here's today's AGH Sports Medicine injury update. Last night, Johnny Cueto appeared to tweak something while pitching to Pedro Alvarez in the fifth inning. He then threw one more pitch, and that was to Snyder. Before being lifted, Cueto felt a pain in his right triceps and came out for precautionary reasons. Our injury update brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. So we got a tweet, Bob, from a doctor. It says that triceps equals 3 heads to the muscle. And he sent the hashtag anatomy in case we were interested.
Very good. Now we know.
So
I like it. I like that kind. That's the kind of stuff I like to get. The teaching moments.
1 ball and 1 strike to Jay Bruce. You probably had people scrambling to their Google machines about whether or not there was a monosep. Because they either didn't know or they just wanted to prove you wrong. Or they didn't get your joke.
Well, that's easy to do.
Parrott's got a new uni today. Same dance, but a new uni. Parrott was playing golf earlier today. He had his golf clubs out, hitting balls in the outfield. I think he's got a little Masters fever as well.
He's watching somebody out there. His eye on him.
2-2 to Bruce. He got a foul tip into the mitt of McKinley. And that is the first major league strikeout for Phil Irwin.
A little backdoor breaking ball. Well, he has that box checked now. Strikeout.
That's what you do, right? You sort of have a mental checklist, all the things you want to do as a first.
Well, as far as a strikeout, you know eventually you're going to get one somebody.
You know, one thing
you remember who it is. I mean, that means something to you.
One thing I did not see McHenry do, and I looked for it today, what we've seen when guys make their major league debuts, the catcher, after the very first pitch thrown lately, last year or so, started to notice the catcher rolling the ball out. So the guy's got his first major league pitch. Did not do that for Irwin today. 1-1 to Frazier. And he goes to right field for a base hit. Frazier now 1 for 2. And a 2-out single for the Reds' third baseman. Here's Chris Heisey. Heisey singled and scored. He stole a base as well in the second inning. 1 for 1. Strike called to Heisey.
So he's starting to get a little feel for the off-speed stuff. Healthy Phil's got a feel.
That's right. Heisey makes his home in Mechanicsburg.
Greg Brown country.
That's right. It's Greg's town. Nothing in 2 to Heisey. And the pitch from Irwin. Trying to get him to chase one outside, wouldn't do it. There goes the runner. And that pitch is low on a stolen base.
Running start. That wasn't a good jump. That was just a basic head start.
Watch go.
There he goes.
No chance for McHenry. Reds with a man in scoring position. 2 men out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The count to Heisey. Irwin looks at second. Now comes to the plate and strikes out Heisey. 2 Ks in the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. 2.5 done. Reds leading the Bucks 4-0.
Number 3, here I am in the stands behind home plate talking to Mr. and Mrs. Irwin, father, dad, mother Linda right here. They made the trip about 12-hour drive from Tennessee to watch their son make their major league debut. Now, Linda, you asked me a moment ago if anyone's ever thrown up on my microphone before. That means there's a lot of nerves going on. But to sit here at PNC Park and watch your son pitch in a big league ball game, how do you describe this experience?
It really doesn't even seem real. It doesn't seem real. Phillips always wanted to do this, and we told him yesterday. We said the minute you step on that mound, you throw that first pitch, you'll get to do something most people never get to do, and that's live out a dream that you've always dreamed of. So,
indeed, it is. And Father Tim, when you look at maybe a little bit of nerves, he's known for his control. Didn't have a lot early in the ball game. Is that what you witnessed?
That's a sign. Phillips is a strike thrower, and But what you saw in the 3rd inning, you saw him start to settle down. That looked more like him, and so he's just got to experience that before he can overcome it.
You talk about priceless moments here, Linda. Your son recorded his first major league strikeout. The ball was taken out of play. What do you think the plans might be for that baseball?
I hope he has it. I hope they have it for him.
They do. Yep.
Yeah,
they do.
They do. Yeah, it'll come home with us. I hope.
Very nice. Well, enjoy this day. Congratulations on your son making his big league debut.
Thank you.
All right, Tim.
It's got to be quite a moment, not just for the player, but certainly for the parents who've been there all the way with it. And McDonald gets his first hit of the season. Johnny Mac's on first. Leadoff single, and Irwin gets a chance to bunt him over.
Right back to the middle. Phil can maybe help himself out, drop down a bunt.
And as Robbie pointed out, after the strikeout of Bruce, the first major league strikeout ball was taken out of play.
I really like the stuff his dad said, that he's a strike thrower. That wasn't him early on. The 3rd inning, you could see he's feeling comfortable going after the hitters. That's him. And that's pretty much what we were thinking. Could be an analyst.
Really?
Yeah.
He did a good job then.
Yes, he did.
Well, he has probably seen Phil pitch. How many pitches would you guess? How many A million times has he seen him wind up that right arm.
Sure has. I'm positive of that.
Irwin trying to get a bunt down with Frazier charging. Now it's 1-1.
Wants to butt it to that first base side. Nick Votto handle this ball.
They can't. Some of them can't sit down.
Oh, get the cameras all going. Definitely a case of nerves right in that area.
So Irwin couldn't get the bunt down that time, and with 2 strikes on him, I expect him to try one more time. McLeod flashing the signs. John McDonald across the diamond at first base. Picked up his first hit as a Pirate. Start the inning.
Just pretend the head of that bat is a baseball glove, like you're just going to catch the ball. Catch it.
And he strikes out. So could not put the bunt down. So Irwin back to the dugout. That'll bring up Starling Marte. As Marte still riding that 7-game hitting streak, trying to extend it here. So 1 out and 1 on for the Pirates. Starling Marte. It's always the Marte Parte on Root Sports.
It has been so far this year. It's been the man with that bat. A couple of doubles, triple.
Hitting .333 is Marte.
Weather heats up, you're going to see the long ball heat up also from him. Got a feeling. First full season, I'd like to see him get up there around, what do you think, maybe 15?
15 would be a reasonable number.
I would like to see it. 15
I
would
agree
be
with
good.
you.
Yeah, he might hit 10. I mean, I'd be happy with that too, but I think he's more than capable of coming up with a number like 15. He might hit 20. Physically, he's got that ability. Just mature as a hitter.
Foul tips it into the glove of Hannigan and strikes out.
Looked like he chased that one a little bit out of the strike zone. Maybe just kind of trying to protect with 2 strikes. So you have to expand it a little bit. You don't want to get called out. So if you think it's a maybe, you got to give it a shot. That was probably a little bit too high. Maybe away. The first person to put a glove in front of their face when they're talking. That'd be, I'm going to say, mid-90s or so, perhaps. Things got very secretive.
Greg Maddux been quiet his whole career. Didn't want anybody to know what he was saying on and off the field.
It's probably a Cub. They're trendsetters.
One-0 pitch to Snyder. Snyder with a double in the first. Got caught trying to swipe third base. See what happens to Hannigan. He's got quite a mechanism on his catching glove.
It's protect that thumb. You turn the glove over. I don't think that was a thrombosis shot. That got him on that turned his wrist. That's it. That turned the wrist. Didn't hit his thumb. But he does have the thumb protector on there. When you turn your glove down and the thumb's on the bottom side, if somebody's throwing a heavy sinker, your thumb just takes a beating. So they put that real thick, hard plastic covering that you stick your thumb into to try and protect it a little bit from those fastballs down.
Hannigan playing in the dirt again.
His choice, he wanted to catch. They get a good shot of it that comes down and almost all the way to the beginning of his wrist. It's that white shielding. Backdoor breaking ball for a strike. That's it, right? That white shielding on the inside part of his hand that goes all the way around his thumb.
McDonald off of first base, 2 outs, 2-2 pitch to Travis Snyder. And he takes strike 3. Latos strikes out the side. McDonald a hit mixed in. We'll go to the 4th, 4-0.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
4 runs on 5 hits for Cincinnati. No runs on 2 hits plus an error on the Pirates. Sunday afternoon at PNC Park with Robbie Ince-Mikowski and Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. You can tweet the booth at Root Sports Pit with the hashtag BucksBooth. Michael wants to know about your first start in the major leagues, Bob. How'd it go?
Not well. It wasn't pretty. It was against the Pirates. I remember the first inning, but after that, I don't really remember a whole lot. Now, Omar Moreno grounded out to first. I struck out Foley. Got 0-2 on Parker and then walked him. Stargell hit a home run. I'm down 2-0. And then Robinson flew out to the warning track out in left field. It was at Veterans Stadium. And I think I pitched into the 4th, maybe into the 5th. No, I didn't go all that far. But I didn't get a loss. It was a Philly victory that day. On Memorial Day, there was a huge crowd. It was packed at Veterans Stadium. That was before they put in any of the suites or any of that stuff. It was just all seats. It was pretty amazing how many people they could put in that stadium. But that was the first one. It's kind of ironic. I think about it over the years. My first game was as a Philly versus the Pirates. The last game I ever pitched in, was a Pirate versus the Phillies. So kind of closed things up. But it did, like I said, didn't go too well.
Nope, 2 2/3 innings, Bob. 2 hits, 5 runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Only pitched into the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
I gave myself an extra inning.
Yeah. Don't think there aren't people around here who are going to check up on your stories.
Well, I gave up a home run to Stargell. I admit to everything.
But on the bright side, this is also the anniversary of your only major league home run.
That wasn't a good day either, though.
1991 at Wrigley Field.
Not a good day. They hit a home
You
run.
did. It's amazing. You talk about these bad days, but you had some good days.
Not very many. That was my only at bat that day.
Hannigan pops it up. Garrett Jones calling for it. 1 out. Speaking of history, how about our day automotive this day in Pirates history? Comes from 1968 when Jim Bunning made his Pirate debut and threw a 3-0 shutout at the Dodgers. Late in the game, Roberto Clemente robbed Ron Fairley of a home run to preserve the shutout. It was Bunning's 40th career shutout, and he also recorded his 1,000th National League strikeout in that game. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. She's rooting for the Buccos. Pitcher against pitcher right here. Irwin against Latos. Latos popped up a bunt attempt back in the second inning. His first at bat. He's 0 for 1. He's behind in the count. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. So Phil Irwin facing 4 men in the third inning, giving up a hit to Todd Frazier, but recording a couple of strikeouts. Ground ball to the right side, backhanded by Jones. He'll handle it himself. And now 2 gone. Jones with both putouts so far in the 4th inning. Shin-Soo Choo batting with nobody on and 2 men out.
Irwin settling in now.
Strike called. Choo is 2 for 2, single double, scored a run. Well, nap time. She'll wake up in time for some cotton candy. Ground ball towards second, backhanded by Walker, and the throw picked up by Jones. Nice play all the way around, and a clean inning. 1-2-3 go the Reds in the top of the 4th. The Bucs host the Atlanta Braves at 7:05. All fans receive an Andrew McCutchen Awards bobblehead. Compliments of Trib Total Media. It's also an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday when all fans get a scratch card good for prizes from Eaton Park. For tickets, visit Pirates.com. That's going to be a hot item. That is a collectible right there. 4-0 Reds. Pirates batting in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that man leading off. Andrew McCutcheon. It'll be McCutcheon, Jones, and Walker 3, 4, and 5 to face Latos. Pirates trying to find a way to solve him. They have only 2 hits so far. Snyder had a double in the first inning, and then McDonald had a base hit up the middle last inning in the third.
You'd like to get him into a little bit of a longer inning and make him extend himself. He's only thrown 42, 43 pitches now. He is in the 4th.
McCutcheon likes hitting in this ballpark. Last season he had 329. 15 of his 31 homers came here. Chopper down to short. Kozart gloves and throws, and he's got him. Well, 1 out for the Pirates in the 4th. Garrett Jones up there. Jones flied out very deep to left center field, right in front of the north side notch. He's 0 for 1. Ball 1 to Jones. 1-0 to Garrett. He's recorded back-to-back 2-hit games. His last 4 games coming into today. He's hitting 500, 7 for 14. Two balls, no strikes to Garrett. Strike his call.
It's got to be weird for Steve doing this game this afternoon, looking down at those uniforms. Wore very proudly for all those years.
Well, it makes him feel good.
I'm sure it does.
Well, he'd like it better if the score was different, because the Pirates and Reds had quite a rivalry at that time.
Very special time in Pirate baseball. Through the 70s, boy, they really swing the bats.
Right there is Kozart playing Jones up the middle. 2 men out for the Pirates in the 4th. Let's take a look at what's happening down on the farm. Stetson Alley, remember, he was drafted as a pitcher. He's not anymore. He's a first baseman. And he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark. 5 home runs, 15 RBIs already, and a .356 average. Josh Bell hitting .293. He's got a homer and 12 runs batted in for West Virginia. But Stetson Alley, who was drafted in the same draft with Jamison Tyone, was projected to be a power pitcher, perhaps even a closer.
Power hitter.
Now he's a power hitter. You're right. He started when he stopped pitching and went back to being a position player. He was a third baseman. Now he's playing first.
Good to see Bell getting off to a good start too. 7 doubles.
Yeah. Remember, he was hurt last year. Hurt his knee and missed just about the whole season. 0-1 pitch. Walker is in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Against the Reds, Neal has a .318 average in his career. 49 hits out of 154 at bats, 4 home runs. Way inside, and it's 1-2. Well, the Pirates wrapping up this series with the Reds today. The Cardinals come in tomorrow. 3 games with the Cards, and then 4 with the Braves beginning Thursday. And Walker goes the other way. Oh, what a stop by Frazier! And he throws it away. It should be a base hit for Walker, but Frazier made a well above average play just to make the stop. And to get a throw off was impressive as well, but it will be a base hit for Walker. Third hit of the game for the Pirates.
Well, this ball slicing away from him off the bat also. Great play. Just couldn't get himself planted enough to make an accurate throw.
Pedro Alvarez. Field shifted around a bit. Cozart somewhat up the middle, and way off third is Frazier. Back one to Alvarez. Pedro walked his first time up. Let's see where the defense is playing for Cincinnati. Had a conversation yesterday over on the radio side with Clint Hurdle about all the shifting that's been going on, and talk some detail about it. Pedro pops this one up, foul. We'll be back in the seats. Ryan Hannigan shaking that right hand. It's not his left thumb that hurts, it's his right thumb.
All the teams in baseball shift much more nowadays, and I think it's all about the scouting reports are so in depth, and a lot more information. Used to see a big shift on maybe 4 or 5 guys in the league. Now it's a shift on maybe 2 or 3 guys on every team. Reds infield more of a bunch than a shift. They're trying to take away the middle of the field. Dusty Baker.
Tapper right back to Latos. Takes care of things for the Pirates in the 4th inning. No runs, hit a man left. On to the 5th. Latos and the Reds up 4-0. Terrific shots from the AGH cam. Top of the 5th inning on a great Sunday afternoon at PNC Park. 4-0 Reds. Pirates have clinched this series, winning the first 2 games and trying to come back in this one. The major league debut of pitcher Phil Irwin. Gave up 2 runs in the first and 2 in the second. Now that's a fan. That is a fan. Got the state of California under his beard there. You see that?
I saw that. Well, those are the redwoods. It's a redwood forest right there.
Cozart takes low. Probably a lot of lines for that California tattoo in the beard, but 2 balls and a strike to Cozart. Cozart walked and scored in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the second. 3 out of 10 of the series. Had himself a good night last night, getting all 3 of his hits in the series, a home run, a single, and a double. I think you have to be
about doubled his total for the year.
Yeah. How big of a fan do you have to be to put your team's logo in ink underneath your right eye? That's what I want to know.
Loyal. That's loyalty.
Super fan. And his other team was over by his temple.
Fine catch down on the club level. Youngster with a glove.
There you go. Yes, he did. Home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt brings up a strike. So Cozart goes down on strikes. So one Tennessean strikes out the other.
Phil needed a redo for those first couple innings. There's that 2-strike curveball when you're searching for the check swing.
Votto's 0 for 1 with a walk. Irwin missed badly with that one. 2 balls, no strikes.
He's still looking for his first long ball of the year.
A little slow starting for him. But again, it's relative. The expectations for a guy like Votto pretty high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Irwin has already walked 3 batters today. Walked 2 in the first and 1 in the second. And the 3-1 on the way. And the first time in Phil Irwin's professional career he's walked more than 3 in a game. That's his 4th walk. All throughout the minors since he turned pro in 2009. He's been known as a control guy, but today in his major league debut he walks more in this game than he has in any other game he's ever pitched in. Last July 9th with Altoona he walked 3 in a game. He's walked Votto twice here. Brandon Phillips came up with a 2-run single in the first inning, 1 for 2. Starts him off with a curve.
Things are very different up here with the hitters. You're not going to get so many swings of pitches outside of the strike zone. That's going to affect that walk number. I don't know if this is all that true nowadays, but it certainly was 30 years ago that the umpires weren't going to give you near the strike zone that they would a veteran pitcher. I think that's still the case a little bit, but not like it was. McHenry firing one down to first base, a little wide.
The 0-2 pitch to Brandon Phillips from Phil Irwin. Well, Irwin on the mound pausing.
Look at that lead.
Yeah, and Votto kept on creeping off.
Further and further and further and further. like he's wanting to steal that base. Oh, just a little bit more, and then it was a good thing that Irwin stepped off. Now Votto's creeping back the other way, like he knew something. Should be covering his mouth, shouldn't he? Whatever he was saying there, we could find out.
Gonna have the secret way to communicate. There goes Votto. McHenry's throw down, not there. Stolen base for Joey Votto in his first of the season.
I thought Votto spun his wheels just a little bit there at takeoff.
Ball just tailed away.
Yeah, definitely didn't stay behind his throw. Caught Votto in the middle of the back. That's why he didn't go into center field.
That's a big relief for a catcher who makes a throw like that the fielder can't handle it when it hits the runner and stays put. Prevents him from moving up. Well, 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Around the division right now, the Cubs leading San Francisco 4-1. They're in the second at Wrigley. And the Cardinals and Brewers, no score in the third in St. Louis today. And one low. Genmar Gomez warming up for the Pirates.
I wonder if McHenry was told to go out and take a little time off the clock. Irwin has 81 pitches at this point.
Phil doesn't talk into his glove, he talks into his shirt. McHenry talks into his glove. We talk into microphones. I guess talking into your shirt's not all that strange. Payoff pitch to Phillips with Votto at second base. And that one's through, and Votto will get waved around. McCutchen makes the throw to the plate. It's not there. Well off target. Votto scores. It's 5-0. Phillips with a base hit goes down to second on the throw. And he's got 3 runs batted in. 14 on the season now. He leads the Reds in RBI.
Watch Votto. He's heading back to the bag to get away from that ball. I was really surprised that they tried to score him. McCutchen, that ball must have slipped out of his hand or something. He's got the baseball well before Votto gets close to third base. But the ball just kind of came out of his hand real early. Kind of looped in toward the middle of the diamond.
Dusty Baker, after watching his team lose the first 2 games, now seeing his team with a 5-0 lead halfway through the ball game.
I think that he's probably worried more about than losing those first 2 games is how long is he going to be without Cueto.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto had to leave the ball game last night after 4 1/3 innings. Right triceps issue, and he was taken out of the game for precautionary reasons. He threw a pitch to Alvarez, and then you could tell something was up then, but then he tried it one more with Snyder, and he couldn't go after that. So Alfredo Simon came in. That's when the Pirates started getting to the Reds. Brandon Phillips, who had 2 home runs in Game 1 Friday. 3 RBIs in that game. And today he has 3 RBIs, 6 RBIs in the series. 1 out, Jay Bruce the hitter. Now Irwin here today. The roster move the Pirates made. Josh Harrison was sent to AAA. So he's got to be down there at least 10 days. And with Irwin here as a spot start, you'd figure speculation that the Pirates would make another roster move tomorrow to get their bench back to an even number. They're a man short on the bench today with Harrison gone. They kept the same number in the bullpen. And Brandon Inge is eligible to come off the disabled list. Hit a home run last night in AAA. The Pirates say they're pleased with the progress that Inge has been making since spring training. Jay Bruce pulls this one foul. 2-1. Inge got hit in the back during a spring training game and injured a bone, the scapula, shoulder blade. Hashtag anatomy. And was recovering from that. So if you want to speculate a move, that's probably what they'll do tomorrow.
They call it a scapula because it's shaped like a spatula?
No.
Maybe somebody will tweet about that. There's the answer.
Three 3-1. Count is full now to Bruce. Phil Irwin got his first strikeout of the big leagues in the third inning. It was Bruce. Bruce foul tipped the third strike into the glove of Michael McHenry. 2 hits in this series. Frazier on deck. Payoff pitch. And Bruce hits it foul out of play again.
Good location on that last pitch. Up and in. Tied Bruce up, broke his bat. Now Irwin's numbers aren't going to be all that great, but you can certainly see, pick some parts out of this ball game and see why he has been so good in the minor leagues. Quality pitches. It's just the control hasn't been there for him this afternoon.
Bruce will get another one. Battle between Irwin and Bruce. Okay, Bruce, like Joey Votto, still without a home run this year. And the Reds leave here today. They go back to Cincinnati. They'll start a 10-game homestand. So you'll probably start to see some home run numbers pile up during that 10-gamer.
McDonald just trying to keep Phillips honest, make sure he doesn't get any walking leads. Dart in behind him.
This one will make the seats again. No, we don't go to Cincinnati for quite a while. First game against the Reds there is the 17th of June. 4-game series. And that's a heck of a road trip. 4 in Cincinnati, then out to the West Coast to take on the Angels, and then a pair of games with the Seattle Mariners. It's mid-June through late June.
Bruce really giving the fans a lot of souvenirs over on that side of the stadium.
Well, what's the foul ball-o-meter up to right now?
All kind of going in the same direction. Pop-ups over the dugout on that side. Beautiful afternoon, isn't it? Weather-wise, anyway. The scoreboard doesn't look real pretty right now.
Strike 3. Irwin wins a long battle with Jay Bruce. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Irwin.
A real nice location. Pitch number 11. Perfect spot.
Glenn Hurdle's coming out to get him. So Phil Irwin's major league debut has come to a conclusion. 4 strikeouts. He's given up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. And the Irwin family that'll be proud regardless of the outcome here. Getting a chance to see their son make his big league debut. All done for Phil Irwin. Pirates down 5-0 in the 5th.
Root Sports studio in the North Shore for this in-game update. I'm Rob King, and in case you missed it yesterday, a couple pitchers not only having big days on the mound, but at the plate as well. The Cardinals' Adam Wainwright and the Dodgers' Hyunjin Ryu both put together 3-hit nights while pitching their teams to victory. Tim and Bob, according to Stats Inc., it is the first time since June 1st of 2007 that multiple National League pitchers have racked up 3 hits on the same day.
Well, that's impressive, Rob.
And the DH.
Don't need a DH when you got guys like Wainwright and Ryu hitting the ball all over the place. Well, Phil Irwin is done for the day. Still responsible for Phillips out at second base. And Genmar Gomez takes over for him. 4 2/3 for Irwin. 6 hits, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Well, Bob, we were talking about the injury to Brandon Inge in spring training, the scapula. Scapula comes from the Greek word meaning to dig because its shape resembles a shovel. Got a few more that just said it's the Latin word
was
for
it
shoulder.
that far off then? Because spatula is kind of like a shovel-like. You dig them pancakes out of the pan with it.
Is that right? Yeah. You're reaching now. That's
Hashtag anatomy. I like it.
That is a stretch.
I'm getting into the swing of this stuff now. I'm starting to understand what this tweet's for. A lot of good information. A lot of good
you can
information.
get good information out of it. It's good.
Hey, Pedro. Isn't that him?
The real one's at third base. And the Reds' third baseman, Frazier, pops it up to right. Snyder's got it. And Gomez records the last out of the Reds' 5th. 5-0 Cincinnati. 12:35. All kids 14 and younger receive a Let's Go Bucks eco-friendly rally towel. Thanks to Waste Management. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after. Kids get to run the bases. For tickets, visit pirates.com. That's next Sunday. Second Kids Day of the year.
That's our
Reds.
It's fake Pedro. He has a lot of fun, doesn't he, coming to the games?
Yeah, he's got
always has his number 24 on.
He's got a limited wardrobe, though. It's limited to just Alvarez jerseys. McHenry to center field. And Shin-Soo gets under it for the out. And Michael's 0 for 2. Johnny Mack. John McDonald with a base hit in the third inning, 1 for 1. You got McHenry, McDonald. You got another McDonald going tomorrow, and James McDonald. Mack will oppose Lance Lynn of the Cardinals tomorrow night. McDonald fouls this one off. McDonald was drafted as a senior in college out of Providence College by the Cleveland Indians. He wasn't drafted anytime up until then. Usually, if you get missed on your junior year, chances are your senior year you might not get drafted. Junior year really is the last year you'd have any leverage as a player, but John was anxious to go and worked his way up. And ended up playing a bunch of years in Toronto with the Blue Jays and, of course, with the Indians. Arizona last year, and the Pirates got him out of spring training with Arizona this year. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. Prior to one of the games against the Diamondbacks, I asked him if he gave the Pirates the Arizona Diamondbacks signs yet. He said the first thing he did when he got traded was he told the Diamondbacks folks to change their signs because he was going to be giving them to everybody.
Standard procedure.
Up in the air to center field, and comes Shin-Soo Choo, makes the running catch. 2 gone for the Pirates in the 5th. MLB.TV celebrating 11 years now. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live, online, or on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. You can get them on the plane, too. You get internet access up in the air now. Been able to get that for several years on aircraft, and you can watch MLB.TV even up there.
Only if you have like the bump on top.
On the plane.
Yes.
Yeah, that means it's got the entertainment stuff like the internet, TV. Genmar Gomez fouls this one off.
First thing we look for is the bus pulls up.
That's right. Very important.
Something for you to tweet out next time we pull up to the plane. That's what the bump's covering up, those antennas.
Yeah. Wouldn't be very aerodynamic to have all those antennas up there.
The dish hanging out. It's an airplane, it's not a motorhome. I think on motorhomes nowadays they got the little bump up there too. Get a little more gas mileage.
Is that right? I had noticed.
Yeah, you can get 6 instead of 5 miles a gallon.
Raise the Jolly Roger flags to give away today. Makes a nice cape.
Yeah, I would think that'd be a great cape. Excellent cape.
Well, Genmar Gomez with a gap single.
And the DH.
Gomez with a 2-out single.
Fastball pretty much right there. Back to who was that got somebody, one of the Red pitchers, the first hit last night?
That was Alfredo Simon.
Just about the same spot. Line drive the other way.
First big league hit for Genmar Gomez. Now watch, they threw the ball in. See, Talbot has got it right. And now gives it to McCutchen and rolls it up on the dugout. Or did he pull the old switcheroo?
Well, if he did, he's the great Karnak, because that was pretty tricky.
Genmar Gomez, former Cleveland Indian, made a start against the Pirates last year with the Tribe in interleague play. Marte swings through the 1-1. Okay, so Tabota's got the ball, and McCutchen, I don't know if he realized what it was. He just threw it up. That was the real ball. Well, maybe McCutchen knows that really wasn't his first career hit. If it was, that would have been not too nice.
They could have had this one. It's all banged up. Looks like it's been in a game.
And Marte foul tips it into the mid of Hannigan and strikes out for the second time today. Marte now 0 for 3. On to the 6th at PNC Park. It's a foot race right now to the end. Oliver Onion, Jalapeno Hannah. Oliver's got the edge. And the very first win for Oliver Onion this year. Another Root Sports production of the Pirates on MLB Network this coming Wednesday night, 6:30. The Pens are taking on the Canadiens on our main channel. And you can see a special Root Sports production of your Buccos taking on the Cardinals at 7 o'clock on MLB Network. Visit rootsports.com for a channel lineup and more information. Find out the best place for you to do your rooting. Here's the Jolly Roger flag today. It's a pretty neat item on a nice Sunday afternoon along the Allegheny River on the North Shore.
Buccos muddy.
Buccos have been a little offensively challenged today against Matt Latos. This ball is absolutely drilled by Chris Heisey into the highest deck. But foul. Well, you don't see a lot of them hit up there.
No, he got that one pretty well. When you're on the mound and you think, oh, now what?
And strike. Izzy 1 for 9, his only hit in the series, coming in the second inning of this game. He stole second, scored a run. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Didn't expect to get a foul ball up there.
That might be the ball that McCutchen threw out of the dugout.
No,
all the way up there.
It's as far away you could sit.
Yeah.
Still get a foul ball.
It is amazingly far away for a foul ball to travel. Normally they're in that lower section when you go down the left field line. 2-2, and that's fouled over by the stairs of the Pirate dugout.
Gives us hope up here. We have a foul ball down up where that seat is. Maybe we'll get one.
No
someday.
chance. No chance where we are. We are safe and sound in our booth. Unlike in the one in Florida, spring training, where got to wear a hard hat. Strike 3. Gomez strikes out Heisey. There's 1 gone for Cincinnati.
Long foul ball was nothing more than strike 1. You could count if you wanted to how many times that ball's spinning on the way there.
Genmar with a hit today as well, taking over for Phil Irwin. There was a strike on the outside corner. Well, Mountjoy out in center field looks comfortable with the umbrella today.
They'll keep the sun off a little bit, even on a day when it's not all that hot.
That's Troy, our center field cameraman, up on top of the batter's eye, so we call him Mountjoy. There he is. Troy Hill giving us the true center look. Directly lined up with second base, the pitching rubber, and home plate.
You're looking right over the top of the pitcher, right to the strike zone.
And a base hit to left. Ryan Hannigan has his first hit. He's 1 for 2. 1 out base hit.
Now you're looking right back through the middle. Imagine Lightos just be bunting it, squaring around already. Popped up earlier trying to do this.
Second inning, he popped it up. McHenry caught up to it over by the Reds on deck circle. Alvarez will charge from third. Gomez, I don't know if he had any intention of throwing that ball. They're waiting to see what Hannigan might do, but Hannigan's just waiting to be sacrificed over.
Maybe a little scouting mission. Just hold it. See if anybody gives anything away.
Two balls and no strikes. I mentioned the Reds start a 10-game homestand once they leave here. They'll start with the Phillies. They'll play Miami for 4, and then the Cubs for 3. 3-0. Philly leading Miami 2-1 in the 9th right now. Miami outfielder Austin Kearns was hospitalized today. An irregular heartbeat. Atlanta keeps rolling on 9-0, 7th inning over Washington. They're looking for their 11th win. On the corner it goes for a strike. Interleague play postponed today in Minneapolis. The Mets and Twins snowed out. Latos gets the bunt down in fair territory. McHenry goes to second. They get the force play there. McDonald clipped a little by the sliding Hannigan. But a good play by McHenry. They retire the lead runner.
When you're down by 5 runs, you got to roll the dice sometimes on defense, take a gamble. McHenry was able to get to this soon enough that knew he had a shot at the lead runner. The ball hit a soft spot and it just died right there.
Leadoff man Shin-Soo Choo, 2 for 3, single and a double. He has scored a run today, hitting .362. One and one. You don't see a lot of guys who aren't switch hitters using the double flap helmet.
If you use a double flap, you can still use the old style helmet, I understand.
He is plunked. And that stung.
They have a new helmet in baseball that everybody is mandatory to wear this year. Unless you wear a double flap, then you can wear the old style helmet.
The old ABC cap, which he's got on.
Fastball. Right now, upper hamstring, I guess you'd call it.
I don't know. You're the anatomy guy.
Hashtag no. Twitter is the anatomy. I know nothing about anatomy.
I mean, you were talking about scapulas and things like that earlier.
Just
upper hamstring.
Repeating what you were saying. Wondering how they got their name. They're odd names. Guess it all comes from
Latin. Most of it Latin and Greek. Zach Cozart without a hit today, but he has walked and scored. 2 on, 2 out for Cincinnati. Top half of the 6th, 5-0 Reds. Game 3 of a 3-game series. Pirates won Friday night. They won last night. Attempting for the sweep today, but they've got to get the bats going. They haven't been able to really get to Matt Latos. Latos hasn't given up more than 1 hit in an inning. He has scattered 4 hits throughout the game. Latos has been very economical with his pitches too. He's at 74 right now. Gomez pitch gets away from McHenry. Runners are going to move up. Wild pitch over to third base is Latos, the pitcher. And over to second, Shin-Soo Choo.
Way out there. Henry tries to shift out, but it's just too far out of the strike zone. There's so much you can do. You try to get the center of your body behind that baseball, but when it's out that far, you block that one with your glove. It's just pretty much luck.
Strike is called up high in the zone to Cozart. Cozart last year had a very good rookie season. He was on Baseball America's all-rookie team as the shortstop, and is one of just a few, very few. There's a ground ball to McDonald at short. Finish that later as he throws him out. So they leave 2-0 across, 1 hit. Pirates coming to the plate in the bottom of the 6th. Nothing here. Reds in front. Take a look at our road ahead for the Pirates, brought to you by Nissan. Probable starters for the upcoming series with the Cards. Monday, Lance Lynn and James McDonald. Tuesday, Jake Westbrook against Jonathan Sanchez. And Wednesday, the Cards will start their top prospect, Shelby Miller, and A.J. Burnett, looking for his first win of the season. And that game is a special Root Sports production on MLB Network. That getting set to go tomorrow. Travis Snyder will start the bottom of the 6th. And he takes a strike from Latos. Snyder had a double in the first inning. 1 for 2. He is behind 0-2. Now he struck out looking in the 3rd. Now his next at bat, he's taken 2 pitches for strikes. 76 pitches now for Latos. 55 of them have been over the plate. Oh, 2 from Latos. And Snyder puts it on the ground to Joey Votto. Toss to Latos covering. 1 out for the Pirates in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Latos being pretty efficient right now. He's not having to go into many deep counts. He's keeping that pitch count low, which is so important nowadays. Just at 76. Might. I think it's a pretty big might, but he might have a shot at trying to throw a shutout. We continue to get some quick outs.
McCutchen fouls this one a long way down the right side.
Cueto already kind of a question mark as to how his health is. That might go into the thinking too with Latos. It might be even a little more conservative. Like,
well,
okay.
Consider last year they had 5 starters, not miss a start during the regular season. It's incredible. 0-2 on McCutchen.
Well, they might, get Latos maybe through 7 innings if they still have a 5-run lead. Say, okay, that's it. Just don't want you to go, too far into a ball game at this time of year. It's only April 14th.
The 0-2 pitch. And McCutcheon pops it up, shallow right. Backing up is Votto into foul ground. He'll make the catch. And there are 2 out for the Pirates in the 6th. On this week's episode of Inside Pirates Baseball, Jason Grilli's long-awaited chance at being a closer has arrived. See more from our Mic'd Up segment with A.J. Burnett. Recap our plays of the week and a whole lot more. It's Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Sports Medicine. Today, after Pirates postgame on Root Sports. Two outs, base is empty for Garrett Jones. 0-1 to count. Jones 0 for 2. Fly deep to left center in the 2nd inning, and then grounded out to short in the 4th. Tried the breaking ball and missed. Jones bangs a single to center field. Garrett Jones continues.
He's not getting a lot of soft hits.
No, they're pretty sharp.
He is centering that baseball quite a bit.
Jones has hit safely in 3 straight. Two-out single, but again, it's the scattering of the hits by Latos. Only 1 an inning in 5 different innings. Pirates have not been able to put together more than 1 hit in an inning today. Neil Walker, who is 1 for 2, singled in the 4th. Starting to go a little bit better for Neal after a tough start where he seemed to hit the ball at somebody more often than not. And this one's going to drop in for a base hit. First time in the game, the Bucks have had back-to-back hits. Neal is 2 for 3.
They're able to find a hole with that one. Kind of serve that one out. We've talked a lot about how the start to the season is very similar to last year. If I remember right, Neal, he kind of struggled a little bit early on last year with a lot of atom balls. Remember that?
Yeah.
Hit the ball well, couldn't get anything out of him, and that happened to him quite a bit on that first West Coast road trip. Hit some balls on the nose, but everybody was making the plays on defense.
We'll see if Pedro can get the Bucks back in the game here.
They're supposed to even out, but I guarantee you the hitters, when it's happening to them, they're not thinking that it's going to even out.
Outside.
Just certainly is one thing that is very much needed right now. Down by 5. You got a couple of guys on. Somebody got to pop one out of here.
1-0 pitch to Pedro. That's up high, 2-0. Alvarez at the plate, 2 on, 2 out. After a 2-0 count, Pedro's been pretty successful, a .376 hitter during the course of his career. Get ahead, you can be a little more picky. And Pedro rips it down to Votto. Votto recovers, throws on to Latos, and the side is retired. Pedro stung it, but Votto is still able to make the play. 2 hits in the inning, no runs. We'll head to the 7th at PNC Park.
Sunday afternoon baseball at PNC Park. The Pirates today wearing some vintage jerseys, the pullover jerseys, back from 1970 when those jerseys debuted. They were the first those uniforms were worn in the first ever game at Three Rivers Stadium back in 1970. If you look at the belt area right there where John McDonald is, they're drawstring pants. Players are not wearing belts today. They're drawstring pants, but the original jerseys that they wore had sash belts built in them. So players in those days didn't have the extra belt that they put on. And they were jerseys that they wore for about 7 years starting in 1970. It's a pretty cool thing. And they were the first team in MLB to adopt the double knit. So the sleeves, the ends of the sleeves that are multicolored right there are a little bit of a different fabric than the actual jersey itself. So there are a few fun facts, Tim and Bob, about the uniforms you're seeing today.
Well, neat looking unis. They are. And again, the Bucs will be wearing these every Sunday home game this year. Genmar Gomez delivering to Joey Votto outside for ball one.
I was awfully glad when we got rid of those and I didn't have to worry about packing my belt. I was glad we had those and didn't have to worry about packing a belt. And then we went back to the belt. And when I was with the Phillies, that was always something. You know how I am, always forgetting stuff. That was one of the things I was always worried about. Belt. Do I pack my belt? Do I have a belt?
I don't remember you forgetting anything.
But then we went back to wearing a belt.
Yeah.
So,
now, when you were the Phillies, did you have those zip up? Mm-hmm. The zippers in the front?
Yeah, they were the zip ups.
They had a regular old metal zipper up the front of the uniform instead of buttons.
And when I went to the Braves, they had the no belt unis, and then the Pirates, they had the no belt unis, and then I think it was the same year we got rid of the striped hats. We went back to wearing belts, which meant I had to pack my belt again.
Pirates need some runs if they're going to raise it today. Genmar Gomez, payoff pitch to Votto is outside ball four, and Joey Votto has walked for the third time today. It's the sixth time in the last two games, the eighth time in this series he has walked. Brandon Phillips, whenever he's had runners in front of him today, he's done the job. He is 2 for 3 with 3 runs batted in. Pair of base hits. Phillips led off the third inning and flying to right field. Those old Philly uniforms you wore, weren't the light blue, the road ones? Mm-hmm. Baby blues. Strike two to Phillips.
All the uniforms back in those days too, they're very unique in the fact that they were made by different companies. The hats could be different, and then Major Leagues, all the uniforms now are all the same company. The hats are all identical. Everything is totally the same. But when you went from team to team, you had all kinds of different stuff you had to get used to. In fact, when it came to the Pirates, they had 3 different brands of uniforms that fit you 3 different ways. It was really kind of a crazy thing. You had all the different colors. I remember the black pants were made out of this material and felt like you were wearing like a pajama or something. It was really, I thought it was a little uncomfortable, to be honest with you. But everything was different back then. Everything has been standardized now. All the uniforms and the hats. And the style, as far as the way the uniforms are worn, boy, has that changed. Remember everything used to be so skin tight?
Right.
If somebody had a quarter in their pocket, you could read the date. Now it's, it's the baggy look, and the pants drooping down around the shoes. And, times change, styles change in baseball, just like in real life. First pair of shoes I wore in the big league were patent leather. You believe that? Imagine somebody wearing patent leather shoes.
No, not today. It's down the right field side and out of play. But take a look at some tweets that have come in. Hashtag Bucks Booth. No buttons, no belts, no hassle. Loving these new uniforms for the Buccos. Michelle likes them too. They all need to wear the high socks. She thinks the Fort looks the best. Irish should always wear these uniforms. Well, they will always wear these uniforms this year on Sunday home games. It is a good look. Two balls, two strikes to Phillips. Votto at first, nobody out. 3-2. A 5-0 lead for Cincinnati. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second off of Phil Irwin. They got another one in the 5th inning. It was also charged to Irwin. So he has given up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. There was an error today by Starling Marte. Allowed Ryan Hannigan to come around in the 2nd inning. And McCutchen with a sliding catch. He'll go back to first base, and they will double off Joey Votto. Double play the hard way.
A very nice play by just kind of a trademark play his out in center field where he comes sliding in, catches the ball off to the side. And then a nice easy toss into first base. No reason to get in a big hurry. You got Votto out easy.
That ball was taking a turn as it was going out to McCutchen. Spin on it was making a curve away from him toward right center. 1-0 to Bruce. It'll come back and let's take care of it. So the walk erased in the double play, and then Jay Bruce taps out. Middle of the 7th, stretch time here at PNC Park. Let's take you around the ballpark on this Sunday and enjoy the sights and sounds of PNC Park. First, though, we will have the singing of God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you now to stand and join the Pirates and Major League Baseball as we offer support to our troops here and abroad. Here to lead us with God Bless America is Shane Treelor. Joining Shane on the field today, representing the Wounded Warriors Project, is Corporal Carlos Jativa from the United States Marine Corps. While on his 2nd tour of duty, Corporal Jativa was performing a combat patrol when his vehicle was struck, sending him and fellow Marines over a bridge, causing traumatic injuries while serving our country. He had a 6-year career in the Marine Corps, and we are proud and thankful he is back home in Pittsburgh, safe and sound.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Fans, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. We invite you now to stand, follow the bouncing Eden Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we
some days that's how the cookie crumbles. 5-0. Bottom of the 7th inning. Cincinnati in front. Along with Robbie Innsmikowski and Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday watching Bucks baseball with us. That might be the first cookie shot from the AGH can I can remember.
That is I don't know, it just makes my day, those AGH shots. I love them. It doesn't matter, the baseball shots, the shots of flying insects. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. It's the best. It's great. Love that camera. Cookies.
McHenry fouls this one off. Come on.
That is the AGH can.
He's a big-time operator there. McHenry hits this one well. It is deep. It is gone. The 4th for his first home run, and it's 5-1.
Just like last year, he can surprise some people with his power.
This one off the batter's eye.
Went right after him with a fastball middle of the plate. Wasn't much doubt. I don't even think Chu bothered going back to the wall. He just turned and watched it.
Just hammered.
He went back there a little late. He broke into the trot awfully early. He knew he didn't have a chance.
And this one to the shortstop Cozart for the out. One out as McDonald is retired. And Jose Tabata will come up to pinch hit in the 9 spot. 3rd home run given up by Latos this season. And the 3rd home run, rather the 4th home run for the Pirates. The 3rd different player to homer. McCutchen has 2, Jones with 1, and now McHenry with 1. Jose came up with a good at bat last night late. A pinch hit RBI double in the 7th inning, provided a little insurance.
It really looked like the top of his rookie year. He had a bullet in the opposite gap. And that was kind of a trademark base hit for him early on.
Tabata lifts this one foul.
Lash those balls to right. Nice play.
In the bullpen, Brian Morris. He was just called up a couple of days ago after the Pirates designated Chris LaRue for assignment. So Morris looks like he's going to get some action today. 1-1 to Tabata. Ball and 2 strikes. Logan Andrusek warming up for Cincinnati. He started his season in Double-A. One ball and 2 strikes to Jose. For Tabata, it's got to be a real pleasure for him to wear this particular uniform because he is a very big fan, very well inspired young player by Roberto Clemente, and getting to wear the Clemente era uniform. A slow roller to Cozart. Cozart with a quick release throws out Tabata, and there are now 2 out for the Pirates in the 7th.
Latos really crowding Tabata with that fastball. Just ate him up inside. That got inside the label. That was on his hands side of where the label is on the bat. AGH cam, you could actually see the bat shake in his hands at contact. That shaking, that vibration, that's what sends those bees through your hands. Makes it hurt. You get jammed.
Starling Marte is 0 for 3. Still with a 7-game hitting streak. 6 of the 7 games he had multi-hit games.
Balls off the backstop this year have been coming right back to the catchers. You know,
yeah, hit the stone, come right back.
It's not a smooth face by any stretch of the imagination. You can get some crazy hops off that backstop, but early on, they're all coming right back to the catchers.
And it's 8 straight games for Marte. 2-out single for Starling.
Fastball right at the knees. Ball in on him a little bit. See that hit just above the label on the other side. And again, you can see that shaking of the bat. The AGH cam, when you have this bright sunshine like that, it really comes into its own. Look at the great shots, really slow it down.
Perfect backdrop right there. Beautiful. 5-1 Cincinnati lead, bottom of the 7th inning. Pirates getting on the board finally against Matt Latos with a solo home run to lead off the inning by Michael McHenry. Travis Snyder is 1 for 3.
Also got Latos to get over 100 pitches now.
He's at 101. One thing about Snyder coming up with the Toronto Blue Jays in the minor leagues, the reports on him were that he hit with tremendous power. It has not yet translated to the big league level. Not to mean it won't. ball and 1 strike. He's got good power, just hasn't shown up in the games yet. Again, just a half season with the Pirates last year and starting his first full season in Pittsburgh. Two balls and a strike. See right behind Snyder, one of the bigger Pirate fans in town, Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Steelers. Tomlin made an appearance in spring training this year in Florida. Came down to see the Bucks. And there it goes up in the air to right field. It's deep. It is going, and it is off the top of the wall. And Marte coming to the plate. He will score. And Travis Snyder inches away from a home run. Gets the second run across. It's 5-2.
I think Marte thought that was a home run. He was kind of jogging around there when Phillips got the ball. If he would have, if somebody would have told him, he had an easy play at the plate, but Phillips got the ball at second base and just kind of turned around and was shocked to see Marte hadn't scored.
We're probably going to see our first video review of the year as Jerry Lane, the crew chief, is visiting with Clint Hurdle right now. And Dusty Baker,
fans say it's a home run,
is also out on the field. And he's going to take Matt Latos out. Well, we'll see. Lots of stuff going on right now. The umpires are going to take a peek at this one. At least talk about it at first. Let's see what we can show you.
And Snyder, you can see the way he tossed the bat away. He thought it was gone.
What did it hit?
I don't know. There's a fan reaching in. It hits his hands. Well, this is going to be a tough one to decide, I think.
Ooh, that's
a home run.
That's a home run.
That's going to be overturned. That was the view right there. AGH cam is on the job again.
Wow.
Look at that.
That ball was going over and the fan knocked it back.
Yeah, you saw it hit his hands and then fall straight down onto the field.
Well, Snyder might have his first one. He's got to wait.
All they got to do is go look at the AGH cam.
Well, they'll look at all the angles that are available through television.
This is the one where you can really see it. Right there. It hits his hands well above the yellow line and then falls back onto the field. They're going to come out and say home run. It'll be a 5-3 ball game.
Still waiting for the umpires to emerge from beyond the third base dugout. There's a little area down there where they'll go and watch the video replay. Travis Snyder hoping for home run number 1. And nothing doing out of the gate yet.
They're right down at the bottom of those stairs. The video board is in a locked cabinet on the left side as you go down into that hallway.
Snyder has 1 home run as a Pirate. All his other big league home runs came with the Blue Jays. Well, the umpire's taking a long look. We're going to blow it up a little bit for you here. Watch.
Boom, home run.
That was going out. So if the call goes the Pirates' way, the crowd will be excited about that. Certainly, it'll make it a 2-run ball game. With McCutchen coming up.
Well, if it doesn't, I don't know. How could it not go the Pirates' way?
I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with you, Bob. There's a splash cam look.
And this ball is over the fence. It hits the fan right there and gets knocked back onto the field. It's plain to see that's a home run.
Snyder awaits the fate. The official call on it.
This might be the longest we've ever had to wait, which has got me worried.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's taken them that long. We saw it pretty quickly. But the three base umpires, Alan Porter, Jerry Lane, the crew chief, and Greg Gibson, in taking a look and having a committee on it. Let's take another look and you decide. Here they come. Fan interference. And this is not very good at all. This is going to go backwards. And Clint Hurdle wants an explanation.
Yeah, what's going on? I mean, we saw it three different ways. All of them home run. Ball was over the fence.
They are calling fan interference. That's a sign for when the umpire grabs his wrist like that. And on a home run, why wouldn't a fan have an opportunity to try to catch the ball?
It's fan interference if he's reaching down below the yellow line and touches the ball. But clearly we can see plain as day his hands make contact with the ball a foot above the yellow line. I mean, you can see where the yellow line is.
And there's the fan, and he's the one who's being accused of interfering.
I mean, look how far above the yellow line he makes contact.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I am shocked.
And this one gets to the backstop. First pitch from Andrusek after taking over for Latos. And now Snyder down to third.
You could see from the splash cam also that he wasn't reaching way out over the line either. I just don't get it.
Well, this one might require some deeper explanation after the game. But in the meantime, it is a 3-run lead for Cincinnati. Pirates getting into the Reds bullpen, and Andrusek with a 1-ball no strike count on McCutchen. And McCutchen belts this one to the left field corner. Snyder's going to score anyway. And around first and heading for second is McCutchen with a 2-out RBI double. And now it is 5-3.
Well, score is right though.
Fourth double for McCutchen. Dusty Baker coming out already.
Definitely got the momentum going now.
And Dusty Baker trying to slow things down. He comes out. And there is your Zoltan for the day. McCutchen declared that back in Arizona. So Logan Andrusek going to be taken out of the game after facing just McCutchen. Another pitching change. 5-3 Cincinnati. 2 outs, and Travis Snyder would be home run. It was called fan interference. That ball was over the fence.
Yeah, clearly.
But the umpires came out and called fan interference.
And you made a good point to me. Like right there, if he catches that ball instead of knocks it down, are they going to review it and say not a home run? No, that ball's 2 feet over the fence. This is a great instance to argue. Just let the umpires make the call on the field. Let the human element have its say in the game like it should. And quit trying to search for perfection because you're never going to get there. Even spending 5 minutes down in the tunnel looking at it, and it's still, to me, messed up.
Well, if the fan catches that, there's no replay. There's probably not much of an argument from Cincinnati.
Just let the umpires call the game on the field, and whatever they call, you live with it. That's the way it should be, and there's an example why. That was a home run, and it got called a double even after sitting around for 5 minutes.
Manny Parra takes over for Logan Andrusek after Andrusek gave up the RBI double to McCutchen.
And I know I'm exaggerating. It wasn't 5 minutes.
Seemed like it.
Seemed like it, yes.
And so Gabby Sanchez, right-handed bat, facing the lefty Manny Parra. And Sanchez represents the tying run. It's fouled back for strike 1-1. So 3 runs charged to Latos. After Snyder eventually did come around to score anyway. 2 out of 21 for Sanchez. And McCutchen at second base. Pirates trying to crawl their way back into this ball game after going down 5-0. And a strike call and a breaking ball by Parra. One and 2 to Gabby. One ball, 2 strikes. Parra stretch. And the pitch. And Sanchez rips it through the hole on the left side, a base hit. McCutchen will turn third and score. It's a 1-run ball game at 5-4. Sanchez, a pinch hit RBI single.
Place is woke up a little bit now. He's got a breaking ball down, ripped it through that hole. No chance at all of getting the cut. Well around third base.
Sanchez represents the tying run. Neil Walker at the plate. The potential go-ahead run. That run is charged to Andrusek. He faces one man, gives up 1 hit and 1 run. Pirates trying to complete the comeback. They have won the first 2 games of this series and now inching closer to tying this ball game. In the bottom of the 7th now.
The door to the broom closet is suddenly ajar.
Ball and 1 strike to Neal. Phil Irwin made his major league debut, started this game, gave up all 5 runs, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the 5th. Genmar Gomez has come in and has settled things down nicely. Pirate bullpen active. The 1-1 pitch to Walker. 2 balls and a strike. Jonathan Broxton, early right-hander. Over the last 3 games, Neil Walker has gone 5 for 10. He's 2 for 3 today.
pretty good pass on the ball that time.
I think he was swinging with a certain intent.
Yes, he was intending to punish the baseball with that one. He wasn't trying to hit that ball the other way or anything like that. He was trying to tie this one up. Hit a gap shot. Maybe he'd hit it over the fence. Take the lead.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Walker. Parra set. And the pitch. Full count, 3-2. So Sanchez will run with this one. A little bit close. Might have nicked the corner. Five-4 now, just a 1-run lead for Cincinnati. And the pitch from Parra. And Walker hits it in the air to center field. Chu has a beat on it. And he'll make the catch. A 4 spot for the Pirates. And it was ignited by the Fort, Michael McHenry. His leadoff home run to center field got it going. Bucks now trail by a single run.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subway, where winners eat fresh. Let's go Bucks!
Well, to raise the Jolly Roger, but a little ways to go. We go to the top of the 8th inning. 5-4. Kids already lining up to run the bases, but they're going to have to wait a little bit. Jose Tabata remains in the game. He'll stay in right field. Gabby Sanchez for Garrett Jones. He'll be at first base, and Jared Hughes moves into the 2 spot in the order to complete the double switch. But Hughes not worried about where he's in the batting order. Jared trying to shut Cincinnati down here in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss from the third baseman Todd Frazier. Frazier 1 for 3, base hit in the 3rd. So a new ball game now after the Pirates put 4 up in the 7th. A weak swing for strike 2. Frazier, Heisey, and Hannigan 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order for the Reds. To right center field on 0-2 pitch. And around first and heading for second is Frazier. Boy, I bet Jared Hughes wishes he had that one back.
Yeah, he made a couple of great pitches before that, especially the strike 2 pitch. McHenry wants him to go right back in there. And as you can see by the strike zone in the corner, that center of the plate. be so careful. You know, late in the ball game, you're coming in reliever, you go 0-2. Can't make those mistakes. Got to miss bad.
Heisey trying to bunt. And that ball is going to stay in fair ground. The throw to first. Safe at first is Heisey. Just a slow developing play. And now runners at the corners and nobody out. So this inning not starting the way Jared Hughes had scripted it.
It looked like that ball had a chance of going foul. You know, we'll get a real good look at it here. Jared maybe should have just kept his hands off of it, and it might have rolled off into foul territory. It's hard to tell, though. It was slowing down quick. If it got to the edge of the grass, that's bang bang play.
Ball was in the glove.
If it would have got to the edge of the grass, I think it would have rolled off onto the dirt, got a little momentum to get foul. But it definitely would have been taking a chance. Either way.
Middle infield, plan for 2, corners in. And Hannigan pops it up. John McDonald, a shortstop, makes the catch, and that's a break for now for Hughes.
Jared, a sinker ball guy, so he doesn't get helped out too much by the pop up. Now he'll be looking for that ground ball.
I see you. I see you now.
So the Reds will have Hanahan hit. Hanahan started on Friday night at third base. He went twice to the opposite field. A couple of singles over there. Former Cleveland Indian. Three of his 5 hits were pinch hits. And he had the 2-hit game on Friday, so that accounts for all of his hits. One out, runners at the corners, and Hughes getting set to deliver. Hanahan takes a strike. Well, still an opportunity to get out of this without a run. Things roll right for Jared Hughes. Might have been one of those scouting missions you were talking about. Hughes with a long pause, seeing if Heisey was going to break.
And that's all about what the hold and step off is. It's the bench wanting to get a look at the runners, see if they'll flinch one way or another, see what the hitter will do when you step off.
Again, a hold.
Yep, same thing. That was all that Jared was not going to come home. They want you to hold the ball, hold the ball, hold the ball, and then when you step off, they're going to watch, especially that first base runner, to see if he gives a little bit of a flinch towards second, and that obviously will let them know something's on.
Strike 2. Hughes threw it right past him.
I could hear him grunt as he was letting that one go. He tried to put a little extra on it.
Nothing in 2 to Hanahan. Pinch hitting for Cincinnati. Came after that inside corner and missed. But how far did he miss it by?
Looked like it sat on the corner. There you can see on the strike zone in the corner the number 3 pitch.
That should have been a ring up for Hunter Wendelstedt.
Awfully close.
Hanahan got a call in the corner. Hughes ready for the 1-2, but he'll throw to first instead, and Heisey back. The last pitch he made was a good one. Good pitch for him to make. Frazier, the runner at third base. Heisey at first. One out. It's a one-run game. 5-4. Cincinnati leads.
Barely stayed alive. After throwing those fastballs by him, McHenry put down the 2 for the breaking pitch and then motioned his glove down toward the dirt. He wanted that ball out of the strike zone low.
Here's 1-2. It's outside.
Jared wasn't going to make any mistakes with that. He was definitely going for some kind of a chase swing with a 2-strike pitch.
External signs to the defense.
Yeah, that's letting the middle infielders know what he's going to do with the baseball, what McHenry's going to do with the baseball. If the runner breaks to second, is he going to throw through? Is he going to hold it?
To the opposite field and a base hit, and the Reds add another run. That's the 4th pinch hit for Hanahan. He is excelling in that category. He's now the major league leader in pinch hits.
They got a ball down and away fastball. Didn't try to do a lot with it. Went the other direction. Hit it right through the hole. It was a big at bat. First couple pitches looked like he was going to be overmatched with the fastball. Able to make the adjustments.
Well, the leadoff double by Frazier is cashed in on by the Reds.
You could also see in that replay, McDonald was breaking to cover the bag. Going back to those signs that McHenry was given, he gave the sign that he was throwing through to second base. If he hadn't, then McDonald holds his ground, and that's why the middle infielders need to know if the catcher's going to throw or not. Because if he's not going to throw, there's no reason to leave your position.
Brian Morris up for a second time throwing. First and second. One out for the top of the order, Shin-Soo Choo. 2 for 3, hit by a pitch today, single double. And a strike called to Choo. Here's the 0-1. Runners move up. So it hasn't been a good inning for Hughes. Giving up 3 hits on a wild pitch now. Of course, has given up an insurance run to Cincinnati.
Like that ball bounced up and got the heel of the glove. If it comes up and gets his chest protector, it's probably going to just fall right there in front of McHenry. Get that lucky. There's blocking it, and then there's kind of like a hockey goalie. You got to control the rebound.
Fired infield in. 1 out, 2-1 count. Shin-Soo Choo. There's a strike on the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giants have taken a lead over the Cubs 5-4. They're in the 6th.
Game was 4-1.
Yeah.
Giants will come back.
Swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Shin-Soo Choo. 2 men out for Cincinnati. Well-dressed couple of folks there. That Batgirl.
Most definitely.
Zach Cozart without a hit today, 0 for 3 with a walk. Ball inside. And also St. Louis holding on to a 3-2 lead over Milwaukee. They're in the 8th inning. Atlanta has won their 11th game, 9-0 over Washington. They are 11-1, by far the best record in baseball.
Maybe they'll get all the winning out of their system before they show up.
Justin Upton hit another home run today, his 7th. Andrelton Simmons hit his first. (6-4) Cincinnati leads, 2 down and 2 on. And Hughes gets a strike in on Cozart. Hope to see you out here at the ballpark this week. Lots of stuff going on. Pups on Tuesday, another pup night, Tuesday night. Dogs come out to the park. There's a ground ball to short, right through the legs of the base runner. And John McDonald makes the play. A run comes in, 3 hits, 2 left. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Pirates trailing by a pair. Back here at PNC Park, 6-4. Reds with a lead in the 7th inning that saw a bunch of runs. 4 for the Pirates at the top of the 8th, 1 for the Reds. And Jerry Lane, the crew chief, who on a video replay of what appeared to be a Travis Snyder home run, ruled it fan interference. And I'm not so sure, Bob, that even when they ruled it fan interference, they shouldn't have put Starling Marte back on base. He was at first base. And I'm wondering why they didn't take the run off the board and put him at third. But that's water under the bridge now because the Pirates did get 4 runs.
Well, it's not a ground rule double. It's fan interference. You can put the runners anywhere you want.
All right. I thought I saw him point to third, but he never came back up.
So they're saying that he would have scored, which he did. And what went is a double.
So whether that was a big play or not, the Pirates did get Snyder around. McCutchen would also score in the inning. And Broxton's 2-0 to Pedro. For a strike. Either way, all the parties involved scored. Marte, Snyder.
Oh, worked out. Maybe even for the better. When you think about it. A lot of times those home runs will kind of kill the rally because now the pitcher gets to start over. There's nobody on base anywhere. You know, nobody really throws. Relievers don't throw from windups. But still, if you really want to get a rally going, you just want double, 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 double.
3-1 to Pedro.
Got to keep that pitcher checking runners.
And he's aboard. That'll bring the tying run to the plate, Michael McHenry. But go back to the 7th inning. And Snyder thinks he's got his first home run. You can tell by the way he flipped the bat.
Latos, look at the way he
goes on too, but way above the line.
Yeah, there's no doubt that was a home run. Well, maybe in his mind. Obviously, there was, or he wouldn't have made the call like that.
So he made a couple of points. I thought one of those was for Marte, but not.
I think it was for Marte, and they pointed home. They scored.
Okay.
They pointed once for Marte and once for Snyder.
Henry takes up and in. Michael with a home run in the 7th. We're down 5-0 until the 7th inning. Starling Marte with his base hit in the 7th extended his hitting streak from 7 games to 8. One-0 pitch coming to McHenry. 1-1. This is how he led off the 7th inning. Off the back wall. Alvarez at first. Broxton ready to deliver the 1-1. And McHenry hits it up in the air to deep left field. Going back on it, Heisey to the track. This ball is gone. The Fort strikes for a pair of home runs, and the ball game's tied at 6.
Tell me this game doesn't have a feel like last year.
Holy smokes, Michael McHenry. Have yourself a day.
I don't know if I want to get in his way. He's hammering some hands.
Fans want a curtain call from the Fort.
There it comes.
Brand new ball game. And John McDonald at the plate. And Broxton almost threw it to the backstop. A towering fly ball. Heisey gave it a run.
This ties him with McCutchen. Team lead.
Heisey almost got it. Watch this. Just missed. Good reason to smile for the Fort. So you mentioned it last inning that the door to the broom closet is now ajar. I think it's a little bit more open.
Saw a lot of brooms being waved as McHenry was rounding the bases.
Donald will take a strike, 2-1. The Bucs still need another run to take the lead, but right in the wheelhouse for Michael McHenry. Heise gave that everything he had, but just missed it.
It'd be a great way to start the season.
This one toward the hole. Cozart, long throw. He got him.
Backing off the bag. We see him do that a lot. On a close play, that baseball has to travel just a little bit further. Made that play maybe that much closer. But I was about to say, what a great way to start the season. If the Pirates can complete this sweep of the Reds, the team, the defending champions, the team they have to beat to get to the top. Everybody talks about it. If they can sweep them in this first series, that's a huge lift. You know, especially looking at the way that opening part of the season went.
A pair of cannonballs from the Fort's Ramparts.
I agree with that.
Tweet us at Root Sports Pit. Hashtag Bucks Booth.
There we go.
And there's Waldo. Waldo brought his broom. Makes him easier to find. One-0 pitch to Tabata. Two balls and no strikes. Pirates have come all the way back from a 5-0 deficit. 6-6 now. They're out hitting Cincinnati 12-10. Almost hit him. 3 balls, no strikes, and Broxton in danger of putting the go-ahead run on base.
Trying to crowd top it. Remember that first at bat he had where he got jammed way deep on his hands on the handle. We showed it with the AGH cam. That's what they're attempting to do, but Broxton just can't nail down that inside corner.
Ball 4. Second walk of the inning from Broxton. Go ahead runs on base.
Bottom of the strike zone, perhaps.
Hannigan bringing that ball up. And, you know, when catchers frame pitches, you talk to catchers about this, talk to umpires, talk to other people. Sometimes when you try to bring that ball back up as much as Hannigan did, it's almost like you're telling the umpire it wasn't a strike rather than just holding it there.
Yeah, you see a lot of glove movement.
Hunter Wendelstedt called it ball 4, so that might have been the catcher taking one away. Michael McHenry getting the job done. Speaking of catchers, 2 home runs today. Michael McHenry, his first multi-home run game as a big leaguer. Starling Marte 1 for 4. One down, Tabata the runner at first. Time was called by the catcher, Hannigan. The throw went to first anyway. Russell Martin has grabbed the bat. He's in the on-deck circle. Inside corner for a strike. Remember, the Pirates are a man down on the bench today, just a 4-man bench instead of Usual 5-man bench with Josh Harrison being sent down to make room for Phil Irwin today. Expecting another roster move tomorrow, perhaps, to fill out the bench and get 5 back. Likely candidate would be Brandon Inge. Oh, 1 to Marte. He hits this one high and deep to left field. It goes, and it is gone! A 2-run home run for Starling Marte, and the Pirates lead it 8-6. How do you like this kid?
Many more to come. Many more to come. Is this like last season or not? It's a dramatic comeback with bats coming loose. And this is a statement series right here. Not over yet. But if this lead holds up now for one more inning to come out and sweep these guys, that's definitely making a statement.
Marte putting it just in front of the rotunda, wrapping it around the pole.
He knows all he needed was a fair ball. He got it good.
Starling Marte, home run number 1, drives in 2. As the Pirates get 3 outs in the 9th, the Marte parte can begin.
Yeah. Where's that sign? That's what it is right now in that dugout.
Multi-hit games in 7 of his last 8. An 8-game hitting streak. We're looking at a special young player.
Oh, he's got everything you could want in a baseball player. Great speed, the arm, power with the bat.
And so now Jonathan Sanchez will come up to pinch hit. And talking about this before the game, figuring who's going to be the pitcher that's going to have to hit today because they're a man short if they get in a situation. So the Pirates playing it safer here, saving Russell Martin just in case there's a bottom of the 9th. Sanchez is scheduled to pitch on Tuesday against Jake Westbrook and the Cardinals. Broxton's behind 2-0. Now 3-0. And Jonathan Sanchez a pitch away from getting on base. Another 4 spot for the Pirates. 4 spots in the 7th and the 8th. 2 home runs this inning as the Cincinnati bullpen has imploded. Once Matt Latos left after 6 2/3. Strike on the corner. And Drusek gave up a run. Latos was charged with 3, but they had 5 when he left. He had the lead when he left the ball game. And that is ball 4. But Jonathan Sanchez, who is up there basically playing Statue of Liberty, gets walked.
I like the strategies. Just don't swing.
And in the bullpen, Mark Melancon. Clint Hurdle said earlier today when asked about who would be the closer with Grilli unavailable today, he said, I hope we get to make that decision. And he said Melancon would probably be the guy. .86 Pirates, a season high 13 hits. And McCutchen bangs it to the left center field gap. Jonathan Sanchez going around second, head for third. Throw comes to second. Runners at the corners. Andrew McCutchen is 2 for 5.
14 hits for the Bucks now.
Keep the line moving.
Lumber Company uniforms.
They're hitting like the Lumber Company here late in the ball game. I like these uniforms even more now. I liked them a lot before. Now, even better. Gabby Sanchez, an RBI single, came in on the 7th. He's 1 for 1. Still 1 out. Runners at first and third. Michael McHenry and Starling Marte, the offensive heroes so far. Reminds me of the big red machine and the Lumber Company battles of the 70s.
That's what this is like. 24 base hits this afternoon. 8-6.
Just get out of the way.
He doesn't move much. Lift up the arms. That was about it.
The battling Bucks battling today. Aroldis Chapman getting loose for Cincinnati in the bullpen. If they need him here. Is going to pitch the top of the 9th for the Pirates. Pirates have won 4 of their last 5 and trying to make it 5 of 6. A win today would bring their record even at 6-6. Broxton's pitch to Sanchez. There goes McCutchen. Sanchez takes all the way. And McCutchen in with a steal.
Excellent jump.
Stolen base number 5 for McCutchen. That'll bring the Cincinnati infielders.
One of the things that I'm sure that Kutch wants to work on this year is getting the better jumps. Because with his speed, he will be way up there in those steals if he can do that. I thought last year with the speed that he has, he got thrown out quite a few times where he just shouldn't because he's faster than that. It still shows you, even if you got great speed, you still got to have that jump. With 5 steals now already on the season, it's off to a great start. Marte, another one of those burners in the lineup every day. They end up with a lot of steals this year.
Sanchez saw it high and let it go. 3 balls and a strike. And Broxton a pitch away from loading the bases, and you'd have to think with a switch hitter coming up next, want to turn Neil Walker around to bat right-handed. They'll probably bring Aroldis Chapman in. If Broxton loses Sanchez here, he may be coming in either way. Full now, 3-2. Sanchez lifted his arms to get out of the way of the baseball. Andy Rodriguez scheduled to go on the 19th. He's sitting there with Marte and Tabata. Payoff pitch. Second time in his career. The last time he allowed 2 home runs in the same game was back in 2009 on the 15th of August against the Diamondbacks. So a rarity for Jonathan Broxton today. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Gabby Sanchez. Gabby lifts this one to center field. Tagging is Jonathan Sanchez. The catch is made. Sanchez comes to the plate, and Gabby drives in another run. He's got 2 RBIs today, and the Pirates add on. It is 9-6.
Nice job by Gabby getting up all the outfielders. Good turn out, obviously, into a big run. It was not an easy pitch to get out to the outfield. It was down. 3-run lead. It's still a save game, too, for Melanson because it's a 3-run job, but everybody can relax a little bit.
Not Jonathan Broxton's inning. He faced 8 men. And the Pirates have scored 5 runs.
Presented by authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Glad you're with us today. Glad you stayed with us. You're seeing a dandy here at PNC Park. 9-6 Pirates. Season high 14 hits. Charlie Marte, another multi-hit game. His first home run. Breaking a 6-all tie. And now flame-throwing left-hander Aroldis Chapman will face Neil Walker. Broxton faced 8 men in the 8th inning. Aroldis Chapman and Neil Walker faced each other before September 11, 2010. Go-ahead single off Chapman in Cincinnati. And then on the 20th of August, 11. There's Walker with a base hit. McCutchen will come around to score. And the Pirates with double digits on the board. Neil Walker comes through. His 3rd hit of the day.
It looked like a replay of a replay. It's a line shot right back through the middle. Walker definitely has Chapman's number.
Pirates have batted around here in the 8th. Next time they face each other, you can add this to the flashback.
No longer a save situation. 4-run lead.
Walker's starting to get hot with the bat. And Alvarez swinging a miss. $15 hits for the Bucks. Pedro would like to get the 16th. Oh, 0-2. Ten 10-6 Pirates. They have come back in this one. Matt Latos probably wondering what happened. He left with a 5-3 lead. Runner goes, and Alvarez fouls it off. Latos will not get a decision in this one. He had not lost a game against the Pirates. 4-0 in 7 career starts. He'll remain that way. But for the second straight game, once the Pirates got into the Reds bullpen, they started doing damage. And should the Pirates win, this would be the second time this year that when the opposition has scored first, the Pirates have won. First time was last night. A 3-1 win. Michael McHenry, 2 home runs today. 0-2 to Pedro. And he hammers one up in the air to center field. It'll hang up for Chu. But what an inning. Pirates bat around. They put 6 runs on the board. Michael McHenry, second of 2 home runs. He drove in 2. And Marte gave the Pirates the lead with a 2-run homer of his own. Going to the 9th. Pirates looking to break out the brooms. It done in the late innings. Pirates with 10 runs over the 7th and 8th combined. And Mark Melancon to try to finish it up. It's not a safe situation now, a 4-run lead. But Melancon has pitched 7 innings and has yet to give up a run. Melancon been getting the job done. He pitched the 8th last night effectively, setting up Jason Grilli. He'll face Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Jay Bruce. Today's Barrel Automotive League leaders stat: team leaders in opponent average among bullpens, and the Pirates #1. Opponents hitting just 172 against them. Kansas City next, and Atlanta. And Atlanta's got a really good bullpen, so that'll give you an idea of where the Pirates rank at this point in time. Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better.
Well, Melancon certainly has been doing his share of that. I think his personal number is 087. That's what it said on the board. Plenty of cushion now. Pirates putting up 10 runs in the last 2 innings.
Gotta like that. Have to like that. Good momentum heading into the series with the Cardinals starting tomorrow night. 1-0 pitch. And Joey Votto just crushes it. And Votto's got his first home run of the year. It's now 10-7. First run given up by Melancon. Well, the Reds with a pulse, still not finished.
Come on, Brad.
Made that young man happy anyway. Fastball. Pretty much center of the plate. You got a 4-run lead. You're not going to mess around too much with trying to hit the corner here and there. Especially with Votto, who seems to walk every time he gets up there.
Votto has walked 8 times in this 3-game series. Thinking 1 to Brandon Phillips. And a slow roller to the left side of the infield, cut off by Alvarez. 1 gone. Make sure to stand by following the conclusion of this ball game. Rob King and Kent Jacoby will break it down for you, and lots to break down, especially in the late innings. Early innings were all Cincinnati. In the late innings, all the Pirates. We'll hear what the Fort has to say. I don't know if he knows it yet, but Robbie Mikowski is going to grab him for an interview post game. And the parrot is out there in the crow's nest, ready to raise the Jolly Roger. It's raised the Jolly Roger flag day today, so it only makes sense that
mandatory win.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Next year, just call it win day.
Jay Bruce, without a hit, get into a double play in the first inning. Struck out twice. One to Bruce. 2-1.
Lanson's got a nice little cut action on that fastball of his.
10 runs on 15 hits and an error for the Pirates. 7 runs on 11 hits for Cincinnati. Saw plenty of offense today. Well, the Pirates had to be patient. Started coming in the 7th. Pirates didn't get 2 hits in an inning until the 6th. Garrett Jones and Neil Walker had back-to-back hits. Walker today an RBI, but he went 3 for 5, so a 3-hit day for Neil Walker. Shift is on for Bruce, and he strikes out. And the Reds down to their final out. Pirates an out away from sweet music.
Good hook. Right on the down, so just about on top of the plate. Bruce couldn't hold up. Thought he was going to see another one of those cutters. Jolly Rogers are flying. The brooms are out. Great day at the ballpark.
Pitch to Frazier. High for a ball. Two for 4 today for Frazier. Good start to the year, 326, but Melanson trying to mow him down. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jason Grilli, the day off today. The back-to-back saves. Strike 2. So now the Reds down to their final strike. The broom closet door, Bob, kicked open.
Didn't look promising when Latitz was out there early in the ball game, just pitching well, mowing us down. As you mentioned earlier, the bullpen of the Reds is
there it is.
His liking.
Strike 3, and the Pirates come all the way back and complete the sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. Pirates are even at 6-6. Starling Marte leading the way offensively in the outfield today. 2-run homer. Michael McHenry 2 homers. It's taken a while, 3 seasons. Back in 2010, the last time the Pirates swept 3 at home against Cincinnati.
I think you'll agree that looking at this